One thing that I'd advise you about is temporary demonic possession. You can clearly understand what's going on when you have these rapid and violent fluctuating mood swings. Like all of a sudden you're really just happy and everything, and all of a sudden this wave of energy just comes over you. Then you're short tempered, you're angry, you're just like bitter, you're negative. You just, all of a sudden you have disdain and you can't stand everything and nothing appeals to you anymore and things of this nature. You have to understand how energy works. Souls are energy and they can assume any form. So a soul can assume the form of your soul. Like in other words, it can be absorbed inside your soul, and all of a sudden you will take on the character and personality of that energy, whatever it is. So demonic entities just love cruising around looking for any type of openings or weaknesses or vulnerabilities. Like in other words, if you kind of like feel a little depressed in one day or you feel sad or whatever it is, to them that's an opening. That's a way in. That's an opportunity to gain access into the life force of your soul. So all of a sudden you go from happy and bright and loving and cheerful. All of a sudden you feel like, oh, I just can't stand it. This, I can't, I don't want to be here. Negative and angry and just treating people like garbage and everything agitates you and irritates you. There's a reason for this. Again, you have to understand you are a single drop of energy in an infinite ocean of energy. So it isn't that this ocean of energy is all beautiful, fluffy love and kindness and all the good stuff. It's an ocean of everything. You know, it's like it's what they call a flotsam jetsam. It's just like all a mishmash of stuff. It's just all the debris floating around with all the good stuff too. So eventually, some of that debris is going to bump into the good stuff. And if you're vibing high and you're feeling great, and all of a sudden you just feel like just like your energy's been sucked from you. You have to understand that these energies just drift around. They're just waiting, absolutely waiting for any type of opportunity to come along. And that opportunity is what they see as a weakness in you. Like if you feel vulnerable or afraid, if you're going through a transition in your life and you're really scared, that is an opportunity. That's why the universe always tells you just have faith. Walk by faith, not by sight. What that means is you have to know that you have it already, irregardless of what your senses are telling you. Your senses are going to cause you to panic because the mind, the physical mind, only subsists off that negative vibrational energy. This is what it's been indoctrinated into and inundated with and conditioned with, and this is the sustenance of what keeps it going. This is what all it knows is this. You have to understand that system is a cult. And cult is nothing but brainwashing and manipulation. So if you were born into a cult, that's all you've known your whole life, then that's all you're going to see life to be. So in that sense, the mind is acclimated to that and it has been accustomed to that type of environment. So that's what it wants, more of the same to make it feel comfortable and safe and to give it some sense of familiarity and normalcy. So when you're trying to break away from all that molds and patterns and models and all that routines you've been following in the cycles, the mind is like, no, we don't want to go. And the soul's like, yep, we're going that way. And the mind wants to go in the opposite direction to head back. So when you have that conflict going on between the mind and the soul, that's when these demonic entities start to take an opportunity to exploit that weakness of confusion or chaos or whatever's going on in your life. Because if you don't operate in a state of determined certainty and unwavering knowing, then you're going to be flickering. You're going to be like vacillating, like a light switch on and off. So you don't know which way to go because you're not deeply rooted and grounded in any one thing. You're just like ping ponging, and that's an opportunity for the darkness to take advantage of you. So you can have a really high vibrational day, and all of a sudden, why do I feel like garbage? Why do I feel so agitated and moody and upset and angry and miserable all of a sudden? Why am I just nitpicking at everything in life and looking at all the negatives of life? That's because you just put yourself back into a negative environment because that demonic entity has assumed the dominant position over your energy and placed you back in an environment where it can operate freely. You understand? Demons cannot operate in heaven. I'm going to just put it as simple as that. So in other words, a demon cannot operate in a high vibrational environment, like a field of energy that's only light. So what it does is it occupies your soul and it subtly pushes you back into a lower vibrational state where it can control you and where you can be controlled by other demonic entities. Is any of this making sense? I hope it really is. To give you an example, let's say you're walking down the street and two people jump you and they put you into a van. And they take you somewhere where like that's where their hangout place is. Then they're going to do terrible things to you there because they don't want to be, busted by the authorities. That's essentially what's going on. This negative entity or entities are going to assume your form by possessing your energy. And they're going to get you to focus your energy on low vibrational things And then you're going to wind up finding yourself activating these low vibrational fields of energies and then becoming one with them. Like I said, you have to understand how it works. You are in control of your energy, but if something is attempting to control your energy, then all bets are off. Because if you're weak and you're vulnerable and you're isolated and you're afraid and you're not aware of what's going on, they're going to take full advantage of you, just like people. Just like people, if you're going to go for a loan or apply for something, and if the person that you're trying to get this from knows full well how the business works, but they know that you don't, they're going to take advantage of you. It's what they call predatory lending. Predatory, predator, demons, same thing, no difference. So it's the same premise, same paradigm, same dynamic. So when you're feeling lonely and afraid and scared and uncertain and doubtful and fearful and all that stuff, that's when they pounce. That's when they take advantage of you and prey upon you and prey upon those weaknesses. So once you become possessed demonically, it isn't just your attitude like, you get aggressive and violent. That's just the beginning. What they're going to do is get you to go into an environment where they can operate freely. Basically their central, point of control, where they're all gathering and clustering together. So they're trying to essentially take you to an environment that's conducive to them in remaining in control and doing what they're doing. So like it's almost like you've been kidnapped and taken hostage and brought back to where they all hang out. That's exactly what's going on. So don't be hard on yourself. Most important thing is do not be hard on yourself when it comes to matters such as this, because you're human. You're going to make mistakes, and this is how we learn. This is exactly how we learn, and I'm the same way. Sometimes I find myself going through the same stuff. I'm like, I'm doing great, vibing high, moving forward, and all of a sudden, whoa, this thing comes up. Well, that thing is designed to teach you that you shouldn't have any elements inside you that cause you to be reacting to this, that will lower your vibration and go right back down again. It's a learning curve, man. Don't be hard on yourself. You're not going to get it the first time because you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to get it the first time. You're supposed to keep seeing it until it becomes a nature. It becomes natural to you. Not second nature, your primary nature. Like when you blink and breathe, you're not even thinking about that stuff. It's happening by itself. And that's where the universe wants you to take yourself with these types of things. You have to take yourself to a point where it becomes primary nature, not second nature. It just becomes natural where you're not even thinking about any of it. You are confronted with something, it doesn't affect you anymore. And if it doesn't affect you anymore, there won't be any openings for these demonic parasites to break in and, possess your soul, take over your energy, and force you to go to a lower vibrational environment where they can control you even more. It's just that simple. That's basically it. That's basically the gist of this video. But don't be hard on yourself if you find yourself being moody, agitated, irritated, because then what happens also, you're a vibrational equivalent to others around you like that. Then you're just going to start fighting. And you're going to feed into it and fuel it and make it worse and exacerbate it and just complicate your situation where it doesn't have to be. All because of the mind. The mind is doing all of this stuff because the mind is saying, I don't want peace and freedom and unity and happiness and serenity and oneness. We want war and division and chaos and fighting and confrontation. That's where we come from. That's where we want to stay for the rest of our life. Because that's what it's been conditioned to accept as normal life, everyday life. This is the way life is. Turn on the TV. You don't see people hugging and kissing. What is the first top story on the news? Top story tonight, breaking news, death, murder, rape, violence, war, killing, chaos, crime. That's what the mind is used to. It's like, that's why they call it the feed. Because you're being fed all this low vibrational stuff and it's conditioning you. Your reality is comprised of the content that you consume and the source from where you are getting that content. So if the source that you're getting your content from is garbage and you're consuming that content, what do you think that says about you? And how you're conditioning yourself to become just like that source of content. That's what's going on. So when you click to social media or the news or whatever and you soak up all that trash, demonic entities are like, yo, good, he's one of us now or she's one of us. Let's go in and pounce. And then your soul gets possessed and they lower your vibration and you get agitated and moody and you wind up in a vibrational environment that's conducive to where they are the dominant figure in there because they can't operate in the light. They don't want you to move forward. But when I say demonic entities, I'm saying God because there's no separation, folks. There's no devil and Jesus and all that. It's all source. So source loves you enough to say, I'm going to test you And I'm going to allow you to become aware of the elements that you're carrying yourself that you need to either repair or replace or work on making sure that this kind of thing never happens to you again. Because God is telling you, I need you for things that you don't understand right now. But God is saying to you, I see potential in you that you fail to see in yourself because the system has blinded you to the reality of the divine plan. That's it. So don't be hard on yourself. You are an extraordinary being, man. Absolutely. And these things happen to everybody. They happen to me from time to time, even when everything's going smooth and great and I'm vibing high and all right, I see 1111, 333, and all of a sudden it's a quirk, and it just a little kink, a little chink in the chain, and it just happens. So you just have to go, okay, let me smooth out that little dimple in the fabric and let me learn from it, make sure this never happens again, and let's keep moving forward. And the universe is like, you got it. As long as you don't allow that to be a detriment and you get hung up on that and you start feeding it, and then it causes you to fall and then you refuse to get back up and rise and it keeps you pinned down indefinitely, then you're good. Just don't make a mountain out of a molehill and don't beat yourself up to death over these things. It isn't worth it. Just check the reality of the situation. What is the universe attempting to teach me through the energies of these experiences? How can it make me better, not bitter? I know that everything is happening for my benefit and not to me at my detriment. The universe isn't out to get me. It isn't a conspiracy that God is looking to assassinate me. It's nothing like that. That's the victim mentality. That stuff is going to keep you in an emotional prison forever. And that's where the mind thrives the best, with all that garbage and junk, with the demons and the entities and the minions and the darkness and the evil, because it loves it. Because all it knows is that. When you're born into this world, they show you violent cartoons, violent movies, violent TV, violent video games. It's violence, violence, violence. That's what you've been force fed, and that's your favorite meal, unfortunately. But now you have to come to not want that type of meal anymore because it's non-nutritive. There's no nutritive value in that stuff. It's just all pulp. It's garbage. It doesn't have any nutrients. Vitamins or minerals for your soul, for your mind, for your heart, for your aura. It's just garbage. That's why they have junk food, because when you're low vibration, that's junk energy, needs junk food to keep it going. It's like a bad type of gas that you put in your car. It's what they used to call dirty gas. It's just garbage, and it wreaks havoc on your system. Same thing with this energy. But anyway, have a blessed day. Don't be hard on yourself. And these things happen to everyone. So no, you're not alone. You're not crazy, and you're not going out of your mind, and you're not, a lunatic or anything. This is just a video to comfort you in realizing that, we're all in this together, man. This is a journey of exploration and self-discovery that we all have to take on our own. And how you do that is your own personal business. But I hope this video can help you in some capacity. Anyway, God bless. Namaste. Amen. And take care of yourself. Bye-bye.